Welcome back to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast with me, Tony Morell. This week's special guests are Craig and Kim, the powerful duo behind Autism Awareness Liverpool, known for their honest, heartfelt and sometimes hilarious content online. In this episode, we dive into their personal journey and how they're helping others feel seen, heard and understood. This is a moving, raw and inspiring conversation you don't want to miss. Thanks for listening and watching this episode. Welcome to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast with me, Tony Morell, and this week's special guests are Craig and Kim. Really looking forward to sharing the Good, the Bad and the Ugly. How are we?
Good, all good, mate. Good to have, good to be on. I think if you would have asked me to go on this about a year ago, probably would have went, nah, it's not for me, so, but, you know, obviously the messages that we want to try and get across and that's good to get on a platform and you know, to try and create awareness what we're going to speak about.
It's brilliant, because obviously, Craig, me and you are really good mates and
Yeah.
stuff, and obviously your missus Kim, and I think what you're going to speak about, it'll reach out to so many people, which is why I really wanted you on, because I think this goes unnoticed, it goes under the radar, you know, and what we were speaking about just before we came on, and I just think to raise awareness and what you're doing and how you deal with it as a mum and dad, and the highs and the lows, because there's many families out there who just feel like giving in. But what I see you doing, that's why I wanted you on, because the people who'll come across this and they'll go, wow, there's people out there just like us, because people go into the shells, and that's why I wanted you, obviously, to bring your missus on, because I know she does a lot as well, just like yourself, Craig, and
Yeah.
I'm buzzing that you've come on.
That's right, so supposed to be on, mate. Yeah, we are, we're just trying to do as much as we can now to helping families with kids with learning disabilities, autism. Our little lad Leo, obviously, he's autistic, he's 9. Obviously, we're not going to come in and think we're hard done by in any way, we're not, you know, but we do have our challenges that we need to face, and, you know, we've been saying then, a lot of parents and that they do, you know, you feel lost and you feel isolated and and we've been them parents, but we feel like we've worked together to get through them difficult times, and we want to try and share as much information as we can, and hopefully that can help families going forward. And, you know, Kim's worked with kids with learning disabilities before we had Leo, so she's had a little bit of a upper hand, if you like, and she was obviously someone who really helped me come to terms with it, and yeah, she's always helped in the community. She's worked for the council and stuff, and it's been a mad little journey, but as I said, I've been lucky that Kim's already worked with kids with learning disabilities before, and, you know, as I said, it hasn't half helped us as well.
For you, Kim, you know, it's a big, what's the name, you know, from Craig to, but listen, you said a dream team, and like you say, you know, there's many people out there who feel that they're lost, and, you know, you've been around, you know, young children, you know, who do have learning difficulties or autism, and then obviously when you're dealing with it yourself as a family, how does that feel for, you know, for yourself and that? What's that like?
It was quite hard early days. Like I think Craig just said, I noticed it at first, some of the signs I picked up on.
When the signs were there, you know, you knew you were going to have to tell Craig, and
Yeah.
what was that like? You know, was it, for you, was it daunting, or was it, you knew, or what was how did that make you feel?
Yeah, it made I was sad at the time, because, you know, I knew, you know, it could be really difficult for anyone really to accept and start to understand that life is going to have to be a little bit different than we probably planned, you know, with our first child. And yeah, so I just started to think about how I was going to approach, you know, Craig and sort of help him understand, and the family as well. Because I think it was quite difficult trying to share not the news, but trying, you know, sharing the understanding, the concerns that I had. Yeah.
How did you feel when Kim come to you, Craig?
I think my first reaction was, fuck off trying to diagnose him with something. Like, you know, he's a baby. And that was me, like,
Was she just on the straight away?
Just on the, like, thingy, maybe,
Offensive,
as I said, I think I probably knew a little bit deep down what she was saying was right. But I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe that my kid had a learning disability. As I said, when Kim was pregnant and we found out that she was pregnant, you're like thinking, I'm going to have a boy, he's going to come to match with me, I'm going to play football. And as Kim said, life's going to be a little bit more different now. So I was like, you know, probably thinking that them things may not have happened, which they haven't really, do you know what I mean? But as I said, I did not fly off the handle a little bit, but I did, you know, I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to believe that my child had a learning disability. I don't know why, but it's just an initial reaction, and I feel is that a lot of dads feel like that. I think a lot of dads don't accept it as easy as the mums. I think the mums should crack on and go, right, we've got, this is what's happening and we need to deal with it. Where dads are in denial and I was in denial, and one thing that I'm trying to do more now is trying to share that maybe accept
your
it.
experience. Well, do you know what Craig's saying that? As a man, or as men, we try and brush things off where women are more, they're a bit more, what's the name than us, they're a bit more mature, they deal with things better than us, where we just like, you say, no, it's not, and it, you know, we deal with that, it's that macho thing, isn't it, where we put that mask on and we just act as if like everything's all right, when inside, when you have that news, it's like anyone would probably, and you're in denial.
Yeah, 100%.
And you just think to yourself, oh, why us? Why us as a you know, and then you start questioning yourself, and then obviously because Kim's been around, you know, this, and she, you know, listen, everything's going to be all right. And at the time, you're probably thinking, there's emotion going through you, you're angry and all that. And not angry at your missus, but you're probably angry because you're thinking, why us? You're questioning yourself.
Yeah, and look, there was still stuff that needed to be answered at that point. There weren't no guarantee that Leo did. He was young when she first brought her. I think he might have a sensory need or autism, and she'd say that to me, and I'd be like, didn't even know what autism was or a sensory need, you know what I mean? But I knew my son hasn't got it, you know, that's how I was acting to it. But, you know, once I did start seeing, as we got a little bit older, Leo, and my mates' kids were like speaking or meeting milestones and Leo weren't, and that's when I started like thinking a little bit more that maybe he might have a learning disability, or what Kim was saying was right. But it did take me a while to accept it, and one of the big things that helped me accept it was mad. I speak about this quite a lot when I say how I come to terms with it, is that John Bishop's done an interview with Paddy McGuinness. Paddy McGuinness, I think 3 of his kids have autism, and he was speaking about it, and he was getting all well up. Paddy McGuinness was speaking about it, and I used to get like that myself, you know. I could not speak about Leo and autism in the same sentence without choking up, you know. I don't know why.
It upset you, yeah.
It upset me, mate, but like now I can, you know, I can freely speak about it. I think that's part of the journey, really. But Paddy McGuinness said a little thing, and that, because I have autism, like, you could think a kid, you know, rocking back and forwards, or you can maybe notice it straight away if you walked into a room, but then there might be another kid who has autism and you wouldn't really think that, but you might be playing with a car and that car won't do what it wants to do, what he wanted to do, and then 0 to 100 meltdown. I was like, that's Leo. It was like the penny drop.
So you could sort of relate to it.
Yeah, because I didn't know what autism was, but when he described that Paddy McGuinness, I went, wow, that's Leo, that's like, okay. And then as I started exploring it and started to accept it a bit more. But as I said, it's probably only been recently, over the last couple of years, that I've been openly speak about it. You know what I mean? As I said, we're not like, you know, there's like hard done by with it or not, and we're not here like, well, we feel sorry for us parents.
No, okay,
we're just like, we want to share our journey and hope that can help other families now, and like early doors, then, rather going through what we had to go through to accept it.
Well, this is what I mean. This is why I wanted you on, because I said this to you the other week. I said, I've seen your missus, you know, with the page on Instagram and stuff, and I was like, you know, speaking out, and, you know, people reaching out to you and stuff like that. And I had a conversation with yourself, and I think it was the first one. I think you said, oh, I think my missus is a little bit, what's the name with this? And I went, I hate speaking to the camera, but then for what you're doing and raising the awareness, and it was something else that I went, Craig, do you know what? And I did cry watching it. I'm not gonna lie, because you were on the couch, right? Yeah. You wasn't all done up. Yeah. I think you had an egg stain on your top on that night. But no, what? It was real, Craig.
Yeah.
And like where people have had, like, you could have had a sleepless night. You've had like many of them, and I know you're going to get into that with us, and, you know, where other parents would probably relate to it, and it made me cry, because I watched it and it was like you were on the couch. I think your hair was a little bit, what's the name, and I know you love your hair and that, but it was one of them where, yeah, it's tough. I think he still had the pillow on his head, but it was like, it was from the heart, Craig.
Yeah.
And you spoke about it, and I know that video you had some really good. It went viral, I think it did, didn't it?
Yeah, I think what a lot of people took from that, like I think a lot more people understood it, like maybe challenges that we faced. And we do just crack on, me and Kim, we have a smile on our face, we crack on, but we do deal with a lot of moments. As I said, it's not like thingy, but we are a little bit, you know, probably a little bit under pressure than you was with, like, you know, with kids who didn't have a learning disability. We have challenges daily, but like I wanted to speak about that because she said to me, she's done a little video about something that happened in our house with Leo about the Alechi going off, and I'll get to that. But it's, but then she went, you'd be really good at 2 and 1 because I think dads resonate with, and you might help dads. And I thought, you know what, I wouldn't want speaking to a camera. It's never been like, I'm not shy, I'm a confident person, do you know what I mean? But I just don't know why I wanted to do that. But when she said you might help dads, or you might be, I thought, you know what, I might, because I've spoke to some dads who've got kids with autism.
Or they fall in your inbox and that, and
yeah, but I've spoke to dads, like mates, I've got mates who've got kids with autism, dads and that, and it's very common, unfortunately. And I find, like, some of the stuff that dads say, like, what, and they're not wrong to think like this, but they're not wrong to think like that, mate. But they're saying, like, I can't, like, I'm wondering what's going to happen when I die, and who's going to look after me kid. And I'm like, I've never really thought that far ahead, but it's mad that other dads think like that. But I've spoken to 2 dads who've mentioned that to me, and I thought, that's crazy that they're thinking like that.
They're worrying so far ahead.
Yeah.
So far ahead. I'm like, I just try and live my life now with me Leo and try and do what we can for her now. I've never thought that far ahead, but now I'm half thinking that far ahead.
What did you say to him though?
I did say something. I went, lad, in all due respect, like, you'd be dead.
You won't know.
But I meant, like, in the nicest way possible, like, take some positivity from that. But, like, it's sad that dads are thinking like that, and you know, like, I've probably spoke to him, and he opens up to me about that, and then when I posted that video on Kim's autism page, the Liverpool Autism Awareness page on Instagram, when I posted that, loads of dads reached out to me, thanks for that, mate, because, like...
But that's what it's about, Craig.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm made up, I've done that, I'll do 100 of them now, if that's helped someone, if it helps one person or it helps whatever, I'll do 100 of them videos and that, and we probably will do more videos on the Instagram and share a little bit more of our experiences, and then, as I said, it's over so people can, you know, see the challenges, see what we've done to eliminate it, and if that helps someone going forward, boss by us.
Well, that's what it's about, and, you know, I know you've got Leo and you've got Louis, you know, I know you've got your hands full with the 2 of them, and it's, you know, the 2 beautiful little boys, and like I say, you have got your hands full and stuff like that, but getting you on here to speak about it and, you know, raise awareness and helping, and I've got a lot of stuff that I do want to ask you, which, you know, I know a few people who've got children who've got autism, and I see them speak openly on social media. There's not enough help out there, do you know what I mean? But I just want to start with, like, you know, what does a typical day look like for you as a family? What's a typical day?
It's always an early start.
Is it always
usually
an early?
about 6:30.
It's earlier.
Sometimes 6.
It's a lion, that. No, it's...
Gotta be up quick, get the kettle on, have a cup of tea.
And it's always, we probably had a sleepless night the night before, you know, broken sleep.
Up and down.
Leo's up throughout the night, we can get him asleep, he has melatonin, and that's what helps him sleep, but it doesn't keep him asleep, so, like, you can get to, like, 3:30 in the morning, shouting for Kim, or he comes and gets in our bed, and obviously
little wriggler, isn't he?
kids in general do that, you know what I mean?
Kids
do, and like, so, but that's, like, very common for us on a daily basis, a nightly basis that happens. Broken sleep, sometimes walking around thinking like a space cat because I haven't had sleep, and I can't even function some days, you know, because I feel like the broken sleep, and it depends what mood I think Leo's mood in the morning dictates our mood throughout the day. Like, if Leo's having a bad morning, like, really challenging and demanding and having meltdowns, it's horrible to start your day like that. It is. It's just it's not nice to start your day, you know. You're forward down the phone, we've also got Louis there as well, but, like, you know, that a typical day for us probably looks about, like, getting up. We just try and get up, get on with stuff. We have to have a cup of tea to get going, don't we?
Routine driven.
Routine, yeah.
Because we have to, Leo loves routine, and I think we've learned to embrace routine as well. So we'll get up in the morning, we'll have our cup of tea, we'll have our breakfast, the boys watch a bit of telly, or Leo will go out in the garden, and then we start to get ready. Then it's like bath, brush your teeth, get dressed, get in the car.
You're just doing a normal day to day, and this is what maybe people who don't understand what autism, you know, you know, as a family or with kids and that, because people just think, you know, what they read or whatever, but like what actually, you know, someone's routine or day to day, you know, getting up, you know, it could be up, it could be like, you know, like you're saying, could be demanding or whatever. And I think it's like kids in general, that's pretty much normal, do you know what I mean? But then you've got a few little things that you have got to deal with, and like you say, you've got Louis there as well, and you know,
he likes sameness, and he like everything has to be like predictable, doesn't it? So, and I think that's autism in general, isn't it? It's about that predictability, sameness. if anything changes out of routine,
And is
or
he just...
it's that not knowing what to expect or not knowing what's happening. So that's what causes like the anxiety then, and the worry. So Leo has to know where we're going, what we're doing. So we usually plan our day, don't we? Go to the woods, get out in the fresh air.
But if it's a normal like school day and that, he's like setting his ways there, isn't he? He has to do certain things before I go to school. He has to watch one programme on the telly in the bedroom. He has to come down and put the Gruffalo on before, and this is all before school. We could be like running late. He's like, Gruffalo, and you've got to put it on, otherwise it's just...
Even if it's just for a minute, and then...
Yeah, just put it on. Okay, that's been on that telly, and then we get him in, and then he's got to put his headphones on. He's got his phone with all his music on. He likes the same song. He listens to Christmas songs now. So I used to take him to school.
20 degrees outside, he's got Christmas songs on.
But I'd have my car at the music on in the car, and Leo used to have it. So and he'd demand me. I'm driving the car. We live in McGull, the school's up in Formby. So it's like a 20-minute trip to the school, little special school he's in, boss. And
What's the school called?
it's the Pines at Redgate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely school. You know what, getting onto that as well. So like I spoke about that on my Instagram with the schools and that. We tried Leo on a mainstream at the start. And
So why was that, just trying to be norm? Was that what you
that
trying to...
was
Listen,
me.
But Craig, listen, you got to understand, it's like, I'd probably be the same, but the thing is, it's like you're saying, your day-to-day, your routine of a morning, you know, it's going to be, because we all think, yeah, right, I'm going to sort this. Dad, I'm the dad, I'm going to sort this. And you just think to yourself, and you know, it must have been hard for you to, you know, obviously trying it, and then you're thinking, I don't think this is quite going to work. Do you know what I mean?
We went and had a look around though, didn't we? And Redgate's actually a mainstream school, but it's got a base. So it's a complex needs base, but it is like specialist provision. But we went and had a little look around, and as soon as we seen the school, it was perfect for him because all the doors were open and it was just lovely.
You could just go and do
stuff. It was
stuff.
all child-led, you know, it wasn't all one size fits all. It was, you know, at Leo's pace. But we did try mainstream, like Craig said. I think, because it's only 5 minutes from the house, like, you know, everyone gets to take the kids 5 minutes around the corner, just like, you know, like you said, that was the norm, you know, we just send them to a mainstream school, but
a lot of it was
long, did
it lasted, and a lot of it was my ego as well, because I was like, he's not going to a special school, he's not. But then the teachers were phoning me in the mainstream school, going, Craig, you're gonna have to come and pick him up, he's having a meltdown. It was too much for them in that mainstream school, so I was like driving like to work or whatever, and I had to go and pick him up, and it was a nightmare, like, cause we couldn't plan our day, because Leo's teachers used to have to phone us to say, you're going to have to pick him up, he's on a meltdown, your kid comes before anyone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Back getting him, and then stuck with him all day. I'm just like, oh, I came up the wall, like, I've got the kids, and like meant to be doing stuff, and it used to just be, it was quite challenging, but then that we started opening up to about putting him in the special school, and once, as I said,
got your head round it.
Yeah,
got his EHCP, didn't he? We applied for that.
I think then they helped us with that school. Northway that he went in, they really helped us with that, didn't they? So they were really good for us. We did take something from that, but it just weren't the right setting for Leo. And as I said, I was like, he's not going to a special school. I didn't want him to go to a special school, and I don't know why, but...
Because you know what, Craig, you're probably still dealing with it. It's coming to terms with it, like anybody does, because you didn't really know exactly the full extent of it.
Well, do you know what the funny thing was? He didn't even have a diagnosis at that point, so we were still waiting for his diagnosis, so we didn't even have that.
Really? Lockdown.
Yeah. So he got his EHCP and he got his plate at a specialist school before he even got his diagnosis. So we never even had that closure. We were still... We needed that answer. We needed that diagnosis in a way to feel a bit of closure, so we could maybe move on. We were just so lost at those early stages.
Why I think this goes under the radar, because I don't think enough's done. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I know COVID, whatever we want to call it, was, but it's like, why would, you know, there should be more done for people, you know, children with autism, and more stuff out there, because like you're saying, you're waiting to find out, and you're waiting for the diagnosis. It's crazy.
We had to act quick, didn't we? Early intervention's key, isn't it?
It's so hard, like, you know, when you're a parent at the start and you're trying to figure everything out, and it's even harder now, and that's why we want to try and do as much help as we can for families in the community, because the services are overwhelmed at the moment. There's like, they have been for a while, haven't they? But you go to an hospital now, mate, there's all our people lying in corridors. It's sad, isn't it?
It's broken, isn't it?
It's broken, mate. It's probably like there's controversy over it. There's a managed decline over the 15 years. I don't know, but it's just, it's so hard for people to get seen, and people are lost. We spoke to some parents at the coffee morning, they didn't know what way to go, what way to navigate, and that's why we done a coffee morning, didn't we, do the week, and that's why we wanted to do them coffee mornings, and we're going to do more, because we want to try and help navigate them where to go, so they can get to the root quicker. And
people like yourselves, parents like yourselves who are lost, and let's be honest,
Yeah, we
it's
will.
like you said, you know, at the beginning, you know,
Yeah.
I know you've been involved and stuff like that, but yourself, Craig, you're lost, and it's like you're trying to get your head around it, you're trying to deal with it, and you don't exactly know what's going on.
Yeah.
So you creating this coffee morning, I remember speaking to you about it, Craig, and you said, oh, I think we've got it the next morning, or I said, I'm telling you now, mate, you build it and they'll come. And like, you had a good response, was it?
Yeah,
20 people, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. So we
Yes,
Well, that's 20 parents or, you know,
Yeah, of
10,
course,
10,
yeah,
10 mums and dads who are like yourselves, who just...
I think we had grandparents there as well.
It was
didn't
mainly
we?
mums. It was mainly mums,
Mums,
yeah.
nans.
Was it?
Yeah.
Mums and nans,
It was
yeah.
mainly mums, yeah. But know what? It was good. It was the first one we done. We wanted to cap it at that because we done it upstairs in Dapper and Formby, and our mates who own it, Paul and Vicky, they were really accommodating. They put all like a little cakes out for us. They never charged us for the coffee.
Yeah.
We sort the coffees,
Yeah,
me and Kim, and he was like, no, we'll sort it. Like, they were really accommodating. They were like, what you're doing is good. So there's a lot of people in the community who support each other. A lot of good people out there. But I feel like the services are overwhelmed and it's too hard for parents now. Like as I said, we're 9 years into our journey now with Leo. He's 9. You know, we think we can manage him ourselves without, you know, we probably will need little bits of additional support and stuff, but we feel like parents, if the start of it is so difficult to accept it, know where to go, to what help to get. And that's why we want to try and do as much as we can for the community. So, you know, we can't change everything, but we can, you know, small steps we can...
Listen, this is it, you know.
We can help people meet, and, you know, a few of the mums come back and they saying, oh, thanks very much for that, it was lovely.
They took a lot from it and stuff.
Yeah, and there was a mum there, and her kid was 3, like she was just seeing signs, probably like Kim was with Leo and that, and she was going to, you know, she wanted to go to that morning just because she knows now, and she said her husband's probably like a little bit like what I was, you know, like won't accept, and she was like, I'd love you to have a coffee. I was like, I will have a coffee with any dad who wants to come and have a coffee with me, and I can share my experience and hope that it helps them, because the amount of stress and anxiety I've been through with this process with Leo at the start, and how upset I was at the start, like if I can prevent that with a dad, I will have a coffee with anyone to try and help them. Like what guys said, we're doing the coffee mornings, I want to try and do it dad morning as well. Where all the dads come, because dads are masculine, aren't they?
Yeah,
like I go to work and get the money and compare deals with that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where it's like,
But we still, Craig, we still have feelings, and we put that mask on and we go, we don't deal with it. We deal with it behind closed or on your own. And you keep it inside. You don't, because it's just a man thing, and you sort of anything like you say, but you've been sort of in denial. And Craig, I think a lot of men, like you said, you want to create something where there was a lot of mums that come and nans, where the dads probably didn't. But I think if you put something in place where people, especially dads, because they'll come across it and they'll go, do you know what, the missus might give them a nudge or whatever, and they'll go, because like you said, the anxiety and you doubt yourself and you go, I can sort this, I can fix this, you know what I mean?
That's it. So when I was saying before, when Leo was younger, and my mates' kids are meeting milestones, and they're speaking and they're doing stuff what kids that age should be doing, and Leo's not. I was questioning myself as a dad then. I'm going, am I doing the right thing? Am I giving my kid enough time? Am I doing this? And that was eating away at me, and he just had a learning disability that needed support, but they're the stuff that go through your mind, and other stuff that people think differently. As I said, one of the other dads saying about, he worries about what's going to happen when he passes away and who's going to look after his child. I've never really thought like that, but that's not wrong for him thinking like that. He's just thinking the way he should be thinking, or how he's...
Everyone thinks differently, don't they?
And like I've had it with my thoughts have been different. You know, am I doing the right thing as a dad? And that was my process. So I think doing a dad's morning, getting dads speaking up about how they thought and how they've got over it, and all helping each other, I think it's gold, mate. I think it's...
And Craig, it's you know, what you're doing with the coffee morning for parents, but also for dads, because we do sort of you know what I mean, stay in our shells and stuff. But I think it's fantastic what you're trying to do, and you know, I wish you the best of luck with it all, and I think we'll see a lot more of it on the socials, and we'll push it as much as we can, as much as you can.
Appreciate that, Todd.
What you know, how does Leo best communicate his needs or feelings? What's his...
He's a bit shouty at the minute, isn't he?
He's 9 now, isn't he? Yeah.
It's in the school oldies. I'll let you know what.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to end up
speaking
over here. No. You speak, girl.
Look away, Kim. What's he?
No, do you know what? He at the early days, he used to say bye-bye, and he used to count to 10, and then he regressed, so that was really hard to regress. He just stopped talking. So that was a big worry for us, and we thought he may never speak again. But it took a few years. We had to get private speech and language therapy, didn't we? Rebecca Pearson, her offices in town, she was amazing for us back in the early days. But so we did start talking, then it went from like 1 word, 2 words, and then now he's just more like, if he wants to go outside, he'll just be like, outside, or watermelon ollie ice. But his communications come on really well, and I think the school have got a massive part to play in that.
Yeah, boss in there.
So we will communicate like his wants, his needs, and he can't tell you how he's feeling. He doesn't really understand emotions at the moment, or if he's not well, he will sort of say, "Mummy, I'm not feeling very well." It'll be like a behaviour, so we might start like throwing things or acting out.
Yeah.
If he's not well, like I always think, if Leo's behaving differently, I always think medical. Is there something? Is he got like toothache because he can't express himself?
Yeah.
He can't explain. He's never had a conversation with us, has he?
No, and that's something that we craved. Do you know what I mean? You're like your kids. You're like Paddy McGuinness says that as well. He was like, he remembers just being in a shop and there was a kid, and he said the kid was just. He was with his dad. He said his dad, like, he went, "Can I have dad?" And the kid's dad went, "No, you're having your tea when you get home." He said, just a normal conversation with his son. And you know, like, sometimes I feel like, I wonder what Leo would be like if he never had his learning disability, because I would have loved to have that little convo with him, and I do crave it a bit, but you know what, we get it with we've got it with Louis. You know, we get it with Louis, and it's...
And Louis, I've seen, like, your video, like, I seen the one last night on the slide and that, I think they were on the slide, was it on...
Louis will communicate for him as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, his little brother, and do you know what, it's like you're saying, you can relate to certain, like, you're saying Paddy McGuinness and stuff like that, but it'll come, it'll come, because, what you're doing, and you're active, and where some people are just, like, giving because they've got nothing left.
Yeah.
And that you are, like, a shining light for people who just think they're at home and they close the curtains, it's the same old, the house could be upside down and stuff, and they've just got no energy, they've got no go.
It's hard. We wake up and we say every day's a new day. If we've had a bad day, we just say, let's just leave that day yesterday and let's start a new day, get up as positive as we can be. And I think the kids sense that as well. Like, Leo's got like spidey senses. He knows if we're stressed, or we know, and he'll play on it.
He picks up on it.
He punishes if we go out.
Oh, mate, he knows when I'm hungover in bed. He just acts like the worst. I'm not calling him a bell.
I think it's all kids, I remember,
but like, he does.
But, I mean, back to our Louis, because he just doesn't get enough credit, so Louis will communicate for Leo. So if we're out in public, and like Craig said before, Leo doesn't necessarily like come across like he's got needs, but until like he has a meltdown, or if he's got a stick, he goes around with these sticks and things attached, and they're quite he like nearly takes people's heads off and out with them. But Louis will go
on a tennis racket, doesn't he? And just string, and just like, well, you can see people looking, going, "What's that?"
But Louis will say like, "Oh yeah, this is my brother, he's autistic," and he comes out with things like, "Oh, his brain just works differently," and he's only 5. Like, he's already an advocate.
So he's understanding.
Autism. Yeah,
he's understanding from an early age.
Yeah.
Where, like, he's, this and that, but you can see that he's like that. It's his brother, and he's there for him, and he's got
he is. He winds him up as well, but
did you have the moments?
He knows how to wind him up, like he'll rub something off him that knows.
And they go chasing each other or whatever,
They fight and all that, don't really mess, but they've got a lovely little bond and that.
Yeah.
And he is brilliant with them, Louis. Like, we went to the school the other day to pick him up. And this is why I said me and Kim are going into a school, aren't we, to an assembly to create awareness and speak to families and kids in there to try and create the awareness. And one of the things I'm going to use is that, like, we've got Leo and Louis. We've got Leo who's got a learning disability and he's happy just playing with a stick and he goes to a special school. But we've also got Louis, loves to play football, has lots of friends, goes to a mainstream school. And, when we went to pick Louis up from school the other day, the teachers come from Louis' class and they were nearly crying. They went to us with your Louis is a credit to you. We brought one of the other kids in from who was in a wheelchair, can't walk, and I can't communicate really well, can he? And Louis made a beeline for him. They brought him in for the sports day, went right over him, was playing with him, and like making him
made him feel left out or whatever.
Come over here and see my friends.
Come and see and show me. And like, he was like telling everyone, it's just so nice to hear it.
How did that make you feel?
that
dead
was one of the
proud.
proudest
He got
moments
star
of
of the
being
week.
as a dad.
You got a special star of the week for it,
But
so
like,
he's made up as well.
You know what, Louis, you can
Yeah.
go and play football and score a goal. You can do whatever, but that was just like, wow. Even my mum said
He
to me,
melts your heart, doesn't
you
it?
can't,
Like, it's, yeah.
you can't really teach that. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
from what you said there. It's like his brain works in a different way and all that. And then this little boy who's probably never met before, where some kids, you know what schools like kids, and all right, he's only 5, but he's going, yeah, mate, and
Yeah.
pushes him in his wheelchair, come and play with my mates. That's
He's
you,
like
you can't
naturally-
teach
yeah.
that.
You cannot
You
teach
can't
that.
teach that. That's a kid with a good heart.
That's it. He's
Simple.
like naturally kind. It comes natural to him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think because he's been around Leo, and he learns, doesn't he, from Leo a lot. Like he'll even change his tone of voice. He'll be, come on, Leo, I'll help
Like
you.
he's a little kid.
Yeah, like he's
Like
just
he's
so.
his big brother.
Yeah, he's the big brother,
yeah.
but he
Oh, it's
obviously.
funny.
But he
Does
comes
Leo
down
have
to
that?
Leo's level, doesn't he, to help, and he'll break down his language like what we do. So we won't talk really fast to Leo. Like, come on, Leo, get your coat and get your shoes on. We're going. We're like, Leo, come on, get your shoes or your coat. And Louis now does the same.
Yeah, it's
Louis
funny.
was
He's
like,
learning.
Leo,
He's learning from like
get
he's
your
seen
shoes.
yous. Yeah.
But we just hope that, like, if Leo got took into in the mainstream, that the kids there would be, and I think they would. I think that's why we want to try and create more awareness in the schools, because we feel like it's nice for the kids to be understanding and try and help and try and like make the kids feel welcome. Yeah, the kids all kids are different, you know what I mean? And then like if someone had gone through that for our Leo, I reckon I'd be in tears.
They
Yeah.
are. Well, the teachers say they're all lovely too, and when he goes into like the hall and all the children are like really
But
aware.
But do you know what you're speaking about going into schools and stuff, Craig, Kim? I think it's like you're going into a school. I think it could be the start because there's a lot of kids in mainstream schools who do have autism,
Yeah.
and maybe it's not picked up.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of you get, a lot of, oh, he's a naughty kid, he's a disruptive kid.
Yeah.
Teachers don't understand. I mean, look, I'm not saying that not all teachers, but they need to, like, the signs, and with you going in with the lived experience, I think going into schools and even going into bloody like workplaces and colleges, because it's a lived experience, and you see a lot of people going into workplaces and into colleges and into like schools because people need to understand like the signs, and there could be someone that you could speak to and the teacher could pick up on it, or even like the kids could pick up on it and go home and tell their mum and dad, you know what I mean? That one of the brothers and sisters could, possibly.
Definitely, it's just getting that little bit of awareness and making it a little bit of fun. We're gonna like we're doing like we've piling everything this month, aren't we? Obviously coming on the podcast being brilliant, with being Autism Awareness Month as well in April. We've done the coffee morning, we're doing the assembly. So we're just slowly doing what we want to do, and we're trying to create what we'll find our feet with it, won't we?
Yeah.
But our main goal is just to try and help and try and create awareness, and that's it. If we can do that, we're winning.
No, that's it, and I think it's fantastic what you're doing, but there's a couple of other bits and bobs I want to ask you, like any particular situations, environments that you, like Leo's, like, finds challenging?
Public places in general, really, isn't it? If it's busy, we try and avoid busy places. We try and look for places that are quiet, or if we approach somewhere that's busy, we know Leo's just going to go into like fight and flight. He went through a phase of hugging at everyone. Like if it's too busy, he'll start trying to hug, or he'll just run off.
The hugging's not bad, is it? Because people are just like, I'm forever behind him going, sorry, he's got autism, he just likes hugs. It's not the way it's straight, is it? So I'm constantly behind him. Lots of times I've had to say to someone, sorry, he's got autism, he doesn't understand all this. Is like...
And majority, I think everyone's pretty much okay with it.
Yeah, you know what, so I'll tell a story, like we went, like there's awareness, but there's not enough awareness about it, because as I said, not all learning disabilities are visible. You wouldn't really know until like Leo maybe had a meltdown, especially that's just using Leo as an example. But we went to lakes once, didn't we? And we went to caravan park, and this is another message I want to try and get across as well, is that we were like, it was a big thing for me and Kim. We're like, we're going to take the kids, we're going to get a camper van, I'm going to go to the lakes where we love going. We normally get lodges or Airbnbs or whatever, but we got a camper van there. We're like, let's just do it, let's just try it. Could we do, like, we have isolated ourselves out of a few things, and we always try and like challenge ourselves and that. So we took them and we got settled. Louis was only little, got settled, got set up, and we went to walk the park. Come on, the kids were all happy. And Leo started running after this little duck, and the duck's running away. So a fella come out to his caravan. That duck's been playing there all day. And I went, oh, sorry mate. I said, it's only a kid, doesn't he? He's doing no harm. And he went, I know, but they've been playing it, running after it. I went, mate, he doesn't really understand. I said, he has autism, he's just happy, he's not doing no harm to it. And he went, well, that's on the parents then. I fucking lost my head, mate. I lost my head. I've never lost my head. I don't really lose my head. I'm not really like that type of person. But I've lost my head because the way he said that, and I was like, I was raging for time, and I was like, I ran at the caravan, mate.
Because you were angry?
So angry, because as an early stage, I think you are ready to fly off the handle if anyone says anything a little bit wrong or looks at your child a little bit different, because, you know, you're still in the process of accepting it yourself and stuff, and you're fucking doing cheeky bastard to me, like, it's just, and he shut the thingy straight away, and I couldn't speak. We went to the park and I couldn't speak, and some fella, right, he went to, I told him, I went, look, mate, I said, I'm just a bit raging at the minute, some fellas there, I was upset about it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he went to me, he went, oh, do you know what, mate, just these caravan parks, and no one really, some of them haven't really had a problem in their life, they don't really understand the problem and that. He said, they're just uneducated, and I thought, you know what, and what I'll take from that now going forward, because I know there's a lot of parents who are ready to fly off the handle in public situations with the kid. Don't get angry and don't get wound up, because I didn't feel great after it. You know, my two kids are there, little kids, they've seen the dad getting wound up and angry. It's not nice for them to see.
Yeah.
Them people who aren't educated, leave them, they don't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, just crack on with your kids, and that people will probably look at it. You might get the odd people who aren't educated in it or don't have any awareness over it, and they will maybe look at your kid a little bit different, but don't fly off the handle, because you're doing yourself and the kid no.
Of course.
And I just feel as that's a massive lessons learned for me, because I didn't feel, as I said, didn't feel great after doing it.
But that's how you deal. Sometimes create a human.
Let's be honest.
Human, mate. And we all listen. We all say something, or and then you think, oh, fuck. We've all done it. But the thing is, though, you still get coming to terms with this, Craig, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I was half teeing him up to say it as well, you know what I mean? I'm like, go on, say it. Say it.
You know what, because you probably had that, what's name inside you, where you've been stressed, it's the first time you've done something, you know what I mean? It's a big thing.
They don't understand that was a big thing for us, you know what I mean? Just to do something so simple of taking your kid in a camper van to a caravan park. It was just like, for us it was a big thing, and like we got settled, so I'm thinking differently to what he's thinking. You know, I'm like, oh, well done, we got through it, we got him there, let's go to the park now and let's relax. We've done it. And then when he's like, it just sparked me, and we've been in other things where, like, we've been on the boat in the lakes, and Leo went through it, he just wants us to run back and forward. So he ain't doing no harm, he's only little. And some woman's like that every 2 minutes, like probably thinking, oh, control your child type thing, you know, one of them. And she's like, Craig, go and get Leo. And I just went, fuck them, Kim, fuck them. He was like, he's doing no harm, he's a bit. Again, I was like, well, on the boat,
it's early days, and now you know how to deal with it and stuff like that. But do you know what I also wanted to ask you? I wanted to ask you, Kim, and because I've spoke to you about this, Craig, and me and you had a conversation about it. It's like when friends, you know, sort of pass comments, and then, you know, it's one of them where me, you know, where I've spoke to Craig about it, and you think, did he think before?
I think you know when someone said something they did, but you know what? I think we're now at that stage where we're more positive. Like, that was back in the day, wasn't it? We'd get wound up over the littlest things.
Oh, it'd upset you, because listen, I know it'd upset me, you know, like you say, and I'd be like, he's just said that.
It's that term when people say, oh, there's something wrong with him. Like, that just gets me, that. I just think
it upset you, because
there's nothing wrong with him. His brain just works differently. Yeah.
I wouldn't get wound up over something like that if someone like, I want them saying something wrong with them and that, because it's people like...
A word, say for instance, they use a word, which is not like...
I'll tell you exactly what the word is. I spoke to you on the phone and that. I said some of my mates use the words and they don't mean it, and I wouldn't get wound up at them, but I want them to be aware, because they as parents that could get wound up over it when they use the word, like, he's a retard him, about someone. Not saying it about Leo, but they're saying it about someone else. But it doesn't really hurt me, but something sparks
Hang on,
it.
but that's someone else, you know, who you're saying, because that's someone's... That's a person, or, you know what I mean? It's not a very
when
nice...
they say it and that, and like, I know, I've said it, I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't said that in the past. I'm more educated and more aware of stuff now, with words that I use, you know. But when my mates or people have said that around me, it does something, just, I don't know, it just goes to me head. I'm like, I wish you never said that type thing.
Yeah,
but they don't mean it, so I don't take offence. I don't want anyone to think that I am taking offence, because I don't. But I think other parents could
be a bit aware and stuff.
Other parents could, you know what I mean, who may be like on the start of the journey or starting to like come to terms with it. They could fly off the handle listening to someone say a word like that. And you know, I think when I was saying to Kim today, when we went on holiday with our mates to Turkey, And I think, you know, all our mates not understand to an extent of what we maybe go through, but they don't fully understand, you know, because they don't live it, you know what I mean? Like, so we went on holiday with our mates in the end, and every one of them said at the end, we fucking realised the shit that you must be under on a daily basis, like, because Leo never put his ass to an anchor once, one of us, we never put it.
They sort of got your daily for 2 weeks or whatever, how long did they seen it firsthand?
And we learnt lessons from that, didn't we? We won't go big hotels, we won't go small hotel, small pool, where Leo's just content there, because he's very wanting to know what everything is, isn't he? He's very intrigued. So we'd be like, he ran all around this hotel, me and him. We had a Fitbit on the site, but they ran out of battery.
It was too big, it was too overwhelming for him, wasn't it? And that's like what Craig said, when we came back, we reflected and we thought, wow, why was the holiday such hard work? There was like 5 pools, the hotel was huge. Leo, when he goes somewhere, he likes to know the ins and outs of everywhere, and he'll get his route.
You get his bearings.
Get his bearings.
Yeah, you know what he's like now. You know, like, look, we can go to a little villa or something. It's got your own little space. It's not like you see the Fitbits run out or whatever.
Like, I think even when we went with my mum and dad and that, we went to Tenerife. My mum and dad and my sisters, my brother and his girl and all the kids, and it was a boss thingy, but like, we weren't always with them because one of us was running away after Leo. I think even the family, even though they too help us a lot, our family, I think they realised again the full length once you've lived with it daily,
how hard it is, should I say.
It's so challenging. Like, Leo he's so unpredictable, mate. It's like when we were in Tenerife, for instance, we went to a pool, what is it? The
beach bar.
A beach bar, yeah. Went to a beach San Canal, mammy. What is it called? Got around them things and that. Yeah, we are like Kevin Perry's man and that. But we went to the beach bar and we were all chilling, and Leo's just happy. You're thinking, we're settled now. We can have something to eat. He's got his chips. He's happy. Next minute, there's a woman just sunbathing. He's got dick out, willy out, having a wee next to it in the sand. The woman's like, ah! I'm like, oh, love, I'm so sorry, he's autistic. It's like, they're the challenges and the things that we get put in, and we laugh about them now, but at the time, it's like, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? It's like, he's done other stuff, hasn't he? We
have to risk assess every situation, don't we?
Oh, yeah, is Leo going to have a piss next to someone?
Leo needs the toilet before we go into this beach bar.
But you know what? He's only a kid.
He is, and that
you know
happens
what?
in kids in general as well.
You know, okay, he's got autism, and I think there's a lot of, like you say, I don't say normal, but because it's just different.
Yeah, but you know what? That you know, cause there's a lot of controversy in autism. You know, where it's like a normal kid.
Yeah.
Like, we would not take offence to that, but some parents might. Yeah. What do you mean? My kid is normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just different. You see the way
people need to be educated.
Yeah.
Kim, and this is why, by yous coming on here and like, look, this is how we've dealt with it, and it's like your experiences where, like you've just said there, Craig, normal or different.
Yeah.
Because when I was about to ask the question, then I was thinking, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, normal kids, different kids, whatever. Kids will be kids, and like you're saying, there's a lady sunbathing, and he's had a
but
next
know
to her,
what,
you know
the
what I mean? Kids do that.
Yeah. Olivia would probably do that.
Yeah, but the woman was just laughing. She was like, just laughing, but for us, it's like, oh.
You feel mortified going, oh no, we're on holiday.
Yeah, and
but it is what it is.
We've done it like when we went to the lakes that time. We always go to there's a little place in the lakes called Pooley Bridge. It's boss little gaff quiet, because like the window here and all that's quite busy, aren't they? So we try and we found this little gaff in Pooley Bridge, boss. And we went got the kids, the paddle board, had them in the water, tied them all out. We try and go for something to eat. This is what we have to think about. Can we go for something to eat? Something so little, let's go for something to eat with the kids. We've got there, like Dan was sitting there, and there's a big like family next to us, like an Indian family, and the family, and the fella's dead serious eating his food, like the dad very serious, and kids have all finished. He's got them afternoon teas with the like sandwiches and cake. There's a big cake about that big at the top. He's obviously saved till he's finished his dinner. So we're sitting there, me and Kim and the kids, and we're like that. Louie's a little baby in his high chair. Leo's just on his iPad. Like, we've finally got to have something to eat together, boss. Next minute, Leo just stands up, runs over, and just sticks his finger in the man's cake. Oh, right, and I'm just going, mate, I'm so sorry, he's got autism, he doesn't understand, I'm really sorry, I can't buy you another cake, what is it? And the fella's just like, no, it's okay, like, I was like, come on, let's get off again. No, like, it's just...
When you're thinking everything's cool, and it's just,
It's just like so unpredictable. He's done it like in the Trafford Centre, didn't he, when we went to we went again, we came, you like saying before about the negotiating with him. We need to we negotiate with Leo, right Leo, we're going to go to the shops, get Leo and Louie a toy, and then we're going for dinner, and then
planning everything.
And then we go home,
and then we get a cake, if you eat your dinner, cake, and then we go home. Something like that, we're sitting there again, similar situation, sitting there is right, we've got them to think, the kids are settled, they're happy, that we can have something to eat. We just in one of the little pizza gaffs and the Italian gaffs in the Trafford Centre. And then we got Leo chicken goujons and chips, which he loved at the time then. And he just grabbed the goujons, and we were just sitting eating our tea, just normal, quiet environment. He went, bye-bye goujons! And threw them all over this fella and this woman. And I've stood up off the chair and was like, I am really so sorry, he's got autism, he does not understand. I'm like, and she's just like, you don't know whether to laugh, cry. It's just like, they're saying, like, we laugh about them now and we'll hopefully speak about them. And it's so difficult when you're in that situation in a public place and your kid's acting up, and that's another thing with the awareness and that, like, there's kids, like, us as parents, we're doing everything we can to prevent something like that happening. We want to try and do normal things, like go for food with our kids, and that other families will be in that situations, and, you know, like the slightest look, or it's so hard with being in that process. It's like, oh, you look there looking at us, so should we just get off? Do you know what I mean?
That's some parents will feel like that though.
We just don't even, it goes over our
No, we don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, 9 years now, isn't it? You know what I mean? You've been...
We don't care, we're calculated where we go, like, how we go.
And make sure they don't overcook his goujons.
It's everything.
Otherwise we'll get a concrete goujon on the back of the head.
Diet's massive, innit? Like,
he's got a restrictive eating diet, so everything has to be the same. He likes his Mackies, but like
that's what he likes. If he likes, that's what he likes.
Yeah, but we've learned he likes roast dinners. He likes fish pie. He likes pizza.
Getting him at the right time, innit?
But it's got to be the same. It's got to be the same brand, the same, cooked the same way. So like if the pizza is crispy, it'll probably get lashed through it.
Yeah, it's got to be like everything's got to. It's got to be like.
Do you know what I seen? And I loved it was when you went to shops. And he was getting the lolly ices.
Watermelon lolly ices.
The watermelon. I think Leo and Louie with it. And I think he got about 8 boxes. I just fill the basket. And I was just like,
he just runs.
That's what he likes. That's what he likes.
So that's one of the things that I've been doing with him, haven't I? To help him with his restrictive eating is to taking him to the shops when it's quiet.
So we can pick his food.
Picking his own food, and I've shared that with parents that it has really helped him.
He's telling you what he wants.
Yeah, he tells you what. So rather than you going and buying all kinds and wasting your money, and it helps with independence as well.
Yeah.
So he loves it. Leo would choose going to Tesco or Aldi over Smith's any day, wouldn't he? Because he gets to go and choose all his snacks.
Yeah, he loves the supermarkets.
Yeah.
But that's a thing again, you know, where some parents might not want to take the kids out because, like, okay, they might cause a scene, but like you're saying, they're communicating. It's what they want. It's not like you're saying, Kim, because like parents could be struggling and like they're buying food and they're not going to eat the food because they're just putting it in front of them. It's what they want, and like you're saying, by watching this, and you know, you can take this advice and go, look, we can start doing that. And this is why I wanted you both on there, because you know what kind of therapies or support is there out there.
So, I mean, just going back to the supermarket, it wasn't easy. Early days, he'd run, wouldn't he? He'd run up and down every aisle, and he went through a phase of hugging everyone in the supermarket. Yeah, hugs are nice, but when you're trying to get your shopping done and he wants to hug everyone...
Little 9-year-old kid trying to grab your arm.
So it took years, Tony, it took years. Yeah. And it's only recently he's got to 9, he can actually cope. But I think it was exposure. So I always, I've been to uni now and I've studied... autism and learning disabilities as a postgrad, and a lot of it is around strategies and gradual exposure. So if something hasn't worked in the past, don't give up. Just try it in a different way. Maybe try the supermarket at a quieter time. Use a visual so you know what you're going in the supermarket for.
You know whereabouts.
We use visuals for everything. You know, we've subscribed to Widget. I absolutely love it. We've got a laminator. You know, but I'm not saying we use visuals forever. We use visuals for like the biggest challenges, and then we don't need them then because he remembers.
He's learned that.
Embed like routines and strategies.
Social stories and that, isn't it? We've always done like social stories. So like that's how that was really good for us, weren't it? So we'd have to like, especially in the 6 weeks holidays when you was in work and I had them, it was like, okay, Leo go swim with daddy, this. He had to know when mummy come home. I never used to be able to take Leo home until she got back from work. Knelt down to only blinds would be getting pulled. It just like I was just like,
because he had separation anxiety. Yeah, that was really hard.
Mate, it was so hard seeing your kid
for you, Craig, as a dad. like mum, Kim's at work or whatever, and you're thinking, oh, what am I doing? Not you're questioning yourself probably. You know.
Oh, mate, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't reacted to it because I'm a human being, mate. It's pushed me at boiling point at times because you're trying all stuff, your kid's just kicking off, he's thinking, I'm like, but that we've learned that does not help. We cannot discipline Leo.
You're learning, Craig, as well.
No.
You're not. It's not as if you.
No, shouting doesn't work.
But look, it's like anything. You know, it's a reaction where you know, I've done it. You know, shouted at my kids when they were, you know what I mean. And then when you're learning about certain things that you didn't know nothing about, Craig, which you're a lot more clued up, and this is why you're offering advice, and because there's ways around it where you didn't know, Craig. And you're questioning, and you will question yourself, and you're thinking, am I a crap dad?
Yeah.
And that's what you're probably doing. There's parents out there who, you know, there's certain things where you do question yourself, you know, and you think to yourself, oh, what am I doing wrong? But now you know the logistics of things where, right, we can do it this way, we can do it that way. And
it's like as well, because she wouldn't like even be able to go out. So she was like, and I was like, it was killing me a bit because I'm an outgoing person myself. I go to the match and that. I always try and do stuff, mate, to play footy, and like, she'd just give in at times and go, it's pointless me going out because Leo's just going to kick off for me, and it's just like, no one mind. And I felt bad because I always try and encourage her to do stuff as well.
You do, yeah.
He's getting better now, Leo, with the separation anxiety, isn't he? He will not sleep out. He doesn't sleep, he used to. We think lockdown put a blocker on that, didn't it? Because he used to stay in her mum's or my mum's, and he used to stay in at my sister's and that. But he when lockdown and we were all kept in our fucking stupid houses over our bollocks. It just went out. You know, we're not going too much into that. But like that definitely that
played a big part.
It's been 3 years that he hasn't stayed out.
So for yous, you know, lockdown again, you know, where normally we'd be like now normal life, you could have been going and like getting help and getting, you know, information to help you. So for 3 years while we were all like saying this fucking lockdown, you know, basically you've had to learn on the job sort of thing. To, you know what I mean? And research stuff online and, you know.
That's it. I mean, Leo teaches us something every day, doesn't he? Like he
does. But like at that point as well with lockdown, I think like the acceptance of me was getting a little bit better. You know what I mean? So it made life easier. But Kim, we were quite lucky that she had like the tools and, if you like, to put the strategies in place to help Leo. But look, we're not going to sit here and say it doesn't get between us. It does get between us.
Of course,
We're human beings. We've had murder before in between, and it's probably a built-up of stress of like sleepless nights, being tired. Leo kept playing up. Like, we've got Louis as a little baby, and you're in a confined space in your house, and we've ended up arguing. We try not to argue in front of the kids because we'd never want to do that.
Human, Craig.
But we know now, again, look, anyone who's watching who's taking anything from it, you probably are going to get between you. So it's like a family, it has challenging times. But what we always do, we made it clear that we don't hold it. We don't hold any, and next day we dust ourselves off and we go again, because what's the point in us like blanking each other,
carrying it on,
when we've got
being stubborn and all that.
We've got to be a team. We've got to be a team for Leo. We've got to be it's definitely, you've got to be a team. As I said as well, so with like with the coffee mornings and that, we've all got friends and family who are there for us and will speak to us about it, but they don't really fully understand. But like speaking to parents and that who are going through it or being through it, I think you could speak all day to them, you know, and I think that's why we know that, because we've had help on our journey with Leo, and we know that like we people speaking to us and speaking openly about what we deal with, and people might be going through similar situations. Look, it's normal. It's just what happens. You know what I mean? It's normal for you to fall out. It's normal for you to get in between you. It's normal for you to isolate yourselves from stuff. But what we've learned is try not to do that. Try not to do that, because it'll make your life easier.
Are there any resources or professionals you would highly recommend to other parents?
So we've had a lot of professionals involved with Leo. Occupational therapy, if you can get hold of one. Occupational therapist. To just explore your child's sensory needs, because Leo's got a sensory profile, and we were really fortunate before lockdown to go on a course with the occupational therapist who done a diet for Leo, a profile. Sounds like it's to do with food, but it's not. It's just sensory input that Leo needs every day. So when we done that course, it was just eye-opening for us, wasn't it?
There's courses out there, isn't there? So if you have like through your local boroughs and that, if you look for like courses like that,
go on your local offer.
Yeah.
See what the local authority are offering for free. We've used occupational therapists, dietitians, who else? Trying to think of speech and language.
Speech and language, yeah.
So we did have like speech and language under the NHS community, and then we went private, didn't we?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, I delivered a course called Riding the Rapids, which is brilliant. I feel like it's just the ideal course that every parent should be able to go on.
And
really.
can people like contact yourself to get you come
The
up?
local authority, so just contact their council and they can get it on the course for free. So that's being like delivered across Merseyside, Manchester.
Is Cheshire and all that, is it? Across...
Yeah, I think it's reaching out to there. Yeah. So it's
This
a
is what I
brilliant
mean,
course.
Kim.
Yeah.
You know, it should be reaching out across the... Never mind just like Merseyside and Cheshire and Halton and Manchester. It should be all over the bloody UK, do you know what I mean?
I don't even know the numbers, right? I'd be guessing or lying if it ever said, but I think the stats, it was like 10 years ago, it was like 1 in 10,000 or something had autism. Now it's like could be 1 in 100 have autism, and they're big stats.
Yeah.
And there's not enough resources. There's just not. It's just like, the services are overwhelmed as it is, but even more so now with the demand, with more and more waiting to be diagnosed.
More children being diagnosed.
And people say, why do you think they're diagnosed? There's probably a little bits of controversy, which we never want to speak about controversy, because we don't want to ever we don't want to create a divide, we want to create a community, we don't want people
positive, isn't it? You know what I mean?
We just don't want people going, it's because of this and it's because of that, with no really fully backing or science behind it. We just want to go, all right, it is what it is, let's try and do what we can to help each other with it. But I don't know why. I think there may be an argument that there's just more awareness about it now, so people are looking to get the diagnosis and stuff, so that's why there might be more numbers than there used to be. As you said, there might have been the naughty kid from 10 years ago.
That was the label, what they
A lot of older people are being diagnosed more recently.
I think there's a lot of older people who are undiagnosed walking around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do. I'm undiagnosed with something, I don't know,
I think, you know, listen, with all...
A, B, C, D, F, G, I've got all.
My missus says the same to me. She said, Tony, you've got ADHD or whatever, or I just go...
Spectrum's that big, isn't it? Like, so, like, you probably have.
I'm
diagnosed, you know, and
No, but you know what? It's one of those where you think, look, what you're creating and stuff like that. And that's what I wanted to say about your support group. What's it called? And
so we've got our
how can people
Instagram
contact
page.
You?
Autism _awareness _Liverpool. So that's like our community page.
And that's on Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you set that up in lockdown, didn't you?
Yeah. So that's going strong, isn't it? I mean, we don't promote it. We're not content creators. We're not on there every day. When we've had like a challenge or an achievement, we'll put it on there and we'll share. Or if we come across a resource, or
we share the coffee mornings and all
that.
that.
Or like any support. So like you said before, you know what's out there. We're always sharing support, and we're always sharing like
advice
events,
as well.
Advice, yeah. And then I've started trying to do videos. But what I've found is the more advice and support we put on the community page, the more messages I get. So I'm
you get overwhelmed in that.
We've set up as a sole trader now, so I'm going to start offering private therapies and assessments myself, just to try and, if people want to pay private, then they will, won't they?
We're always going to be doing the community work, so we're always going to be doing the autism, the coffee mornings, and going into the schools. We're always going to be doing the community. We've always said that we're going to just keep doing, creating and spreading as much awareness and doing as much as we can as a community. So like I said, we've done the first one in Formby. We're probably going to do the next one in Kirby, because that's where I'm from, and like a lot of people will come to that who we know from Kirby. I think we're going to do one in Prescott and then one in town. So we're trying to get across Liverpool, doing all different coffee mornings, because it's not as easy accessible to get to Formby, or it might not be for people to get to Kirby or whatever. So we're just going to try and pot a few about and create a little bit of a community and do one centralised.
So it's like a little hub that you've set up, really, isn't it? You know, where people can come and share their experiences and get some advice. But like going from Formby to Kirby to Prescott to Huyton or wherever, you know, who's saying, you know, there could be someone out there who could, like, the funding and stuff like that, you know, that's another big factor, is funding, you know.
The CIC and that you can go down that route and that. I actually spoke to my mate who raises funds through CIC and that, so we've made conversations with that as well, so we're just going to keep pushing as everything that we can, because, you know, we want to just, as I said, just keep trying to help as much as we can, mate, and if there's funding there to support that, you know, we can offer more then, you know what I mean, through more days and stuff. At the minute we're just doing this voluntary to try and help, aren't we? And
I think our dream is to have our own centre.
We want to try and do our own respite centre.
Listen, never say never, do you know what I mean?
Look, we're gonna do it.
That's the attitude to have, isn't it?
It's gonna happen. We want to do it. We need to know how it looks, you know what I mean, how it makes sense. But we know that behind it we've we're coming from good, that we want to try and make that respite centre for kids to get the respite, and, you know, for parents to get the respite as well. So we want to try and do that as well. But that's definitely an ambition of ours. That, as I said, Tom, I've been involved in a few different things, you know, at the bars in town.
Yeah.
I've got the 60 kitchen up in Formby. I've got that, but this, it's just something that's just there, mate, and it's just so passionate
You've got
about
fire, even though you built other businesses, Craig. I know how, you know, what's the name of your businesses, and it's all go and stuff. But when something so close to your heart, it's a bit more burning desire because of what you want them to do, because you've lived it and you're wanting to help many other families out there. And like you say there, you know, you've run your business as well and stuff like that. But this is just something extra special, isn't it?
It's just about what it's like. Okay, but what like on a week through the week now, what do we want to do? Okay, where can we take Leo? Okay, we can't go to the fun arena because it'll be too busy. We can't go to this fun factor. But Louis probably wants to go there, but we feel like Louis misses out on a bit, doesn't he? Because Leo one couldn't, but he's quite easily pleased, Louis, to be fair. But
give him a footy.
Give him a footy. I was about to say, give him a footy.
give him a footy or whatever, and he's happy or playing. But we know there's like, okay, but there should be something that a centre or a place where there's the sensory hive, and I think it's Prescott or Wiskin, isn't it? We've been there, you know what, that's really good what they've done there. I think they've done that through a CIC. It's a really good centre. We actually put Leo's school birthday party in there, didn't we? For and the kids were made up. It just set out for the kids with learning disabilities, gives them that they can still have fun, but it's more of a safer environment for them. And that was really good. And, you know, I sat down at the first time I took Leo somewhere, just sat down at a coffee because the staff help out and all that in there. So that was really good. So we have got ambitions to do our own little thing like that, haven't we? And I think it'd be boss doing it together, and we'd get input from the coffee mornings. What would your kid like in our centre? And we built a little bit of communication that way of what we could do going forward. But we've got the right ideas. We're doing it from the right place, and, you know, I think the next couple of years are going to be quite decent for us to do that. Yeah,
it's great that you've got that, like, you know, that in, you know, the vision to try and do that, and you listen, you're taking people's advice and stuff. It's not like, oh, it's going to be our way, because that's what you want. You want people's advice. What can we do, and what would, like, your child like? And it's great where some people have it where they just want it their own way, you know what I mean? But I think, like you say, it's achievable, and what you're just trying to do and stuff. And I just think, just keep continuing to do what you're doing and stuff like that. But going back to Leo, you know, what's his social, you know, make social connections? What helps Leo make social connections?
He loves school, doesn't he? Like, his friends in school. He's really progressed, like, more recently as he's got older. He's starting to, he does have friends now, whereas he used to just like being in his own little world, and he wouldn't play with any other children, or he wouldn't acknowledge any other kids. But now he'll, like, go and hug his friends, and his friends will tickle him on the neck, and he just loves them now, and he looks for them when he goes into school. He wants to check that they're all
and if they're off, that can be a trigger.
If they're off, he gets a bit upset. But his social connections are mainly through school, and he goes to an after school club, which has took a long time, but he loves it. He as soon as he wakes up on a Wednesday morning,
he knows that he's
going to school, and then Aim and High.
Aim and High, it's really good. So they do little sessions as well. So, like, they'll, like, book out the flip out in Aintree, and it'll be like an autism like hour or two. Or, like, it was all the kids with learning disabilities. It's a quieter session, and the kids can go and play. So that's brilliant when we take them there. That's good. But
he's going to Rantworks for the first time next week, but he gets a 1-to-1. He goes there for 2 hours, so it's somewhere where we can drop him off, and he can go and enjoy it with, like, children who are like him. And so I think, Aim and High has been really good in helping, like, build social connections around school. Do
you know what it's like, since we started the podcast, and what you were saying from the start, like, how was he going to connect and all that, and just hearing you both say that, like, he's going to school and his friends and all that now, you know, where, like, you're thinking, oh, is he going to leave his mum, or, you know, is he going to be having, like you say, he's flipping out or whatever, but going to school? And did you ever think, oh, is he going to feel okay going to school? But like you're saying, going to after school club, he's going to flip out, or what's
he's doing really well, to be fair.
He loves school,
because we spoke about all the challenges and what it was like but more recently, he's just thriving. He goes to school every day because he loves it, and the teachers are amazing. His 1-to-1 is just like, he just loves it, and everything is going really well for him at the minute, and that separation anxiety's gone. In the summer, he'll go to, like, a school like a summer school, and he'll do like 18 sessions, but he just runs in and he loves it. Whereas
Does he
years
just say
ago,
to that? Just
yeah,
go,
a hug,
or just
and
a
that's
Oh,
it.
yeah,
hug,
you're
You have to have a
sorry,
hug,
about
and
for the
then you
hug. She's like, Daddy was tapping his head
Yeah.
about 3 times at a hug, isn't he? But
But I would
then he
say
go-
to parents, it does get easier as they get older. Like,
when we
have
got told
that
that,
home.
didn't we?
Yeah.
So our
Yeah.
friend Vicky, little lad John, he's 20 now. She used to say to us, oh, it gets easier as they get older, and you're thinking people are just saying that to you to make you feel positive and that. But it is getting easier with Leo. And she actually come to the coffee morning, Vicky, with John. John's 20, and she went, and I said to me, all right, speaking about John and stuff in the coffee morning. She was like, yeah, she's just sounds and that. And she was like, yeah, it sounds. So I was like, look, Vicky was very good for us, encouraging, reassuring that things will get better than it has. And John's here today, and John's like, that was a little badge. And she went, he got the train to Southport on his own the other day. They live in Birkdale. And I was thinking, you know what, that's boss that. It must be so difficult, to make that first move, to give them that independence, to go off on their own.
I was about to say
and
that.
he's does it now. I'm going out with him actually when the kids go back to school. I said to Vicky, I'm going to take John out. I can't wait to go out. He's brilliant. He keeps messaging me on Instagram, and he's a boss kid. And we see similar traits with Leo, with John, and I think Vicky must have seen that as well with John. And he's a boss kid. He's just dead creative. He loves to, he used to love dressing up into all the characters and all that. He was like, I still do and all that. And just a boss, lovely kid. And you know what? Like, it's positive that he's getting his independence now, because maybe Leo might get his independence. We don't know for certain, but we've said probably Leo will probably be with us for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
He may not get that independence where we could go, Leo, go and get your own house. He may not, you know what I mean? We are
Part of
planning for that.
acceptance, though, isn't it? Like, we find that when we just accept things like that, it makes things easier, because we're just like, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like you say, you know, it's like you were getting on the train and going and, you know, doing stuff like that. That time will come.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you plan things and stuff, and you sort of accept that, and that's just life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know what people might go, I say that's just life, but it's like how you deal with bringing, you know, certain situations and how you deal with them. And
we take the small wins. We just go small wins. You know, like Leo's at his dinner today, boss. It's like, and for someone else, it's just like it's only at dinner, but we're like, that's massive for us. You know what I mean? It's like
some days he won't eat.
He won't eat, and it's like just eating his dinner. Or Leo slept for 4 hours there. We ended up getting 4 hours sleep. You know what I mean? It's like before he the broken sleep and that. But like we always take the little small wins. We used to isolate ourselves from parties and anything. Oh, there's point. We're not going there, like, because the kids and Leo want to kick off and want to get off. It's pointless us even going. So we did used to but we tried to get over that barrier of not isolating ourselves and creating a social story. Come on, Leo, go to the party, then Leo has some food, and then Leo will have this, and then we go home and go to Leo's house. And
that's the 6 hours in our friend's party.
Yeah, we went to our friend's.
Because he's taught himself, well, the school have taught him how to self-regulate. So when, like, if the classroom gets too busy, he goes into the corridor and will regulate and then go back in when he's ready. So when we went to our friend's party the other week, that's what he was doing. He was going out, and then he was coming back in when he was ready.
It's all falling into place, isn't it? You know what I mean?
But we've only just lately basically understanding that, really, haven't we?
It's understanding. That is the main thing. We're now seeing it through Leo's eyes, through the autism lens, as they say, and that's the biggest battle. Is you've got to, you know, leave all the challenges and everything that you face with at the early days, and then move forward now and let your child teach you. And let it all be very child-led, because the more you understand, the easier it is. And you know, thinking ahead before you go out, risk assessing. What will Leo want to go there? Has he had enough to eat? Or, you know, we'll take snacks after school. Make sure he's had a bit of food because he gets hungry.
It was even yesterday, weren't it? We were in the car, half term. We've got the kids in the car. We're like, okay, where are we going to go? Should we go there? No, because we go to the beach there. You want to go in the water and you just get soaked and whatever. And we go there, because Leo will run away. It's a bit of open space. We're like, Dan, we're in the car for 40 minutes now before we've even decided where to go. You know what I mean?
We were tired,
We were tired,
we make a decision, usually, don't we? But do you know what? We went and just sat on Crosby, didn't we, on the front? We got a little ice cream.
I did chase him everywhere while you sat and had an ice cream.
Me and Louis.
You know what? As I said, we're going back to it again. So you just got to be like a team, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because you know, she does take the brunt of it. I'm not gonna lie. She does get up more than me throughout the night.
She's a deep sleeper.
Yeah.
And she's with Leo.
I think that's a man thing. I remember I used to do that to Lynn. I'd go, the baby, Olivia would be crying or that, and I'd be going, oh.
I'd be like, that I'm better, I'm back. Yeah. But it was what else was I going to say before about that? Oh yeah, that was a big thing that I wanted to really say as well, is that again, I'm not sure if I've already said it. We've been speaking for a while, haven't we?
No, don't worry.
But like, sometimes, not even now, like, I'll say, I sometimes feel guilty that I do more with Louis than Leo. You know, because I go to the match with Louis, I take Louis to football, he has training through the week, I take him, I manage his little team, so I'm more involved in that, and I feel like I do more, and sometimes that makes it good. So, like, we are trying to like make a plan now where I at least do like go to the bats with Leo loves the bats. I'll take the Leo once a week because I want to do as equal as I can with my kids. But we like.
But that's why he's such a good team, Craig. Because you know what, you can doubt yourself and you can think like that, and you're probably thinking, but because you know you might be doing a little bit more, like taking the football, Leo the football. Louis the football. Yeah. Bloody hell, I got mixed up.
No, everyone's just got their all L's.
Yeah, the both L's. But no, and you will. But then again, mate, it's. You've got to have, like you just said before, you need to have a good team. You've both got an understanding of how you're sticking together and working together. And it's been tough. You've both admitted that, you know, there's times when you're like, oh, you know what, that's just normal.
Yeah.
You aren't any different to anybody else out there, do you know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's just, as I said, Leo's able. He can play, he can run round. He has his challenges. We do count ourselves lucky, you know, there's kids in wheelchairs who can't walk, there's kids who can't talk, communicate. And it's sad, you know, like there's lovely, when we go to that school, like I'll be dead honest, the first day we took Leo to the special school, we went in the car park and I remember both of us being filled up in tears because I think it just hit home then, you know, seeing all the kids on the bus coming in and some of them in the wheelchairs and some of them like all with the different additional needs. And it was sad to see, and it was like hit the nail on the head. That like it hit home that our kid had a learning disability, and like it was. I think that was the point where I was like, okay, this is real type thing. But as I said, he's able. We count ourselves lucky. He's a lovely little kid. I wouldn't change Leo for the world, but I'd change the world as they see Leo or kids with autism.
Of course you would.
And that's the message we're trying to get across more. It's just like, just be open-minded and like just be aware that you could upset a family if you looked at them a bit different or you used a certain word.
People be aware of things and stuff like that. Because that's what I was going to say to you is like, what's been like the most challenging experience? That like you say in there, people say like looking or you know you see people talking. What's been the most challenging experience?
I think we've got our own, haven't we? But I'll let you speak about yours and I'll speak about mine because
what's your most challenging?
I think for me it was the separation anxiety.
I
couldn't move. Like it was hard. I couldn't go on the gym. I'd go to Pilates. They were all sitting in the car. It was a family day out just so I could go to Pilates.
Go on the car taking out to Pilates. I think family day out to Pilates.
I couldn't go out like with friends and stuff. It was hard. So, but you know what? The way I
did your friends understand though, Kim? Did
they?
Because sometimes you can get people, oh, you know what, and like stuff like that. Like friends do, you know what I mean? And real friends understand, you know what I mean? Because we have a lot of friends who aren't really friends and they don't understand. Like, you just be in my shoes for 24 hours and you'd understand exactly what me and Craig and what we've got to deal with as a couple. You wouldn't understand, you know what I mean?
I think that's how it went. Obviously the holiday when we were in Turkey, where people really seen then, like it is still I'd say 24-hour care, isn't it? With Leo, it is.
Oh yeah, he needs full supervision.
He needs full supervision, you know. It is, but as I said, we're just blasé about it now. We try and just crack on and just keep being positive because there's enough negative in the world, isn't there? Just try and be positive. And said that was hers, that was hard, because that was probably a point where I was getting, I'll be dead honest, that what got between us, because I'd be still going out with my mates, I'd go to the match and she couldn't move, you know what I mean? And then again, guilty, fucking hell, I can't move now because I mean, Mum and Dad are always so supportive, going, just drop him off at ours and go and you and Kim go and have something to eat and then pick him back up and just gradually build it. And we should do it more. But
Leo gets really distressed sometimes. Not all the time, you know, it's just, we just have to weigh it up every time.
My sister, Hayley, she's like, I don't think our Hayley could scare any kind of child or discipline them and that. She's just got like a little quiet voice.
She's just so chill, isn't she?
She's dead chill, and our Hayley, she'll laugh about it herself. But she had she made Leo for us and Louis, and we went out. We were going out for our mate's birthday, and we were going out, and I'd only got from my goal to Dunnesbridge Road, which is 5 minutes. And I went, how is she? And she just sent me a video. He'd smashed every glass in the house. But he was like, when I said, Auntie Hayley's coming to mind, he was giggling to himself, so I think he knew what was coming. So we just went in, like, Hayley's, he wants, oh, that's a routine for Leo. He doesn't go through our front door. He wants to go through the side gate and around the back. That's his routine. So she's opened the front door, let go back door. And he's got in the back, she's been getting stuff out the car, and she's walked in. I swear down, so the full kitchen was just full of glass. And she's went, how's Leo? And then sent me a video. I was like, oh my God. And it's like, I know she would have been flapping about it. I was like, Leo, Leo smashed all the glasses in the kitchen.
Then you feel bad then.
Then
like,
you're going,
the thoughts are going out again.
You're looking forward to having a couple of hours out.
And then we're 5 minutes in and he smashed every glass in the house. We had, it's just, so like that day, there's little challenges and that like,
but the positives, I have been able to move. I do go to the gym now.
Yeah.
I can go to Pilates now. I can
without the lads in the car.
Yeah, that's it. But
I can go out now.
Another thing as well is with the glasses thing. That's Leo again, maybe trying to tell us something or punishing us for going out, or it might just be a sensitive thing. He loves smashing stuff.
We're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But we know that's the act. So I'm saying to Hayley, don't react to him, because when he's done it in the past, he has done that before. I've been, Leo, fucking get to bed, little shit, whatever, like you would to your kids.
Like you would, yeah.
And then like, but we came just say, Craig, don't react, because he just laughs. He just laughs at you. And I'm like, okay. So now when he does it, I'm just bouncing past him. I'm just ignoring him, and he's looking at me going, naughty, want me to get him. I'm not giving him a reaction. So we've learned that's how it's minimised it now. He doesn't do it as much, does he? So, because we don't react to it. It's so hard, mate. It's like, if you want to just go,
pinching as well. Sometimes he pinches you, but you'd have to be like,
he wants a reaction.
You'd have to explain to him. He'd want you to explain, so you'd say, like, no, Leo, that's not nice. You know, if you want to tickle, ask for tickle. So he goes, ask for tickle. So if he starts pinching you, so he thinks by pinching, he'll tickle him. So it's again, like Craig said, you can't react. You've just got to say, no, Leo, that's not nice, you know, and then just say, ask for tickle, and then he asks, and it's a minefield.
It is. It's constant.
You're learning all the time, aren't you? You know what I mean? And it's
but calling him naughty, that just doesn't work. So
naughty doesn't work.
Word's banned in our house
shouting
now,
at him. There's just nothing to discipline him, so you just got to ignore him and hope it just fizzles off.
How do you both take care of yourselves?
Taking in turns, don't we?
We try and do stuff together, like as well, don't we? Mainly, you know, through the week. Like Kim's off on a Monday and a Friday, and that's how we like. She'll just a little Pilates and then on a Friday, don't you, to start
try and keep active. Like we
that's how she gets over not having all the kids in the car going to Pilates.
we say like exercising releases your stress endorphins, doesn't it? So he likes doing his footy and the gym, and you know, sometimes we try and go for like a hydro together, very rare occasion, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we can, like Craig said, we'll do stuff together. But yeah, exercise, getting out, walking, whatever we can do to, I mean, being kept in the house is just no good, is it?
That's what we've been doing lately, haven't we?
Yeah.
The kids, we hate being stuck in the house with them, because it's just mad at times. So we've just been like, should we get in the car, and we've been driving like nice places just to like get them out and like
night walk, or like evening walks and that with the boys and that.
Getting them out. We just know to get them out. I think that meets Leo's sensitive needs, just getting out with a stick, and then when we get back, he's ready to settle for bed once we give him his melatonin.
In the outdoors, he loves the outdoors.
Loves the outdoors, mate.
When you go for a walk in them woods, like even like the smelling of the pine woods, and it just does something to you, doesn't it?
It's just like
it just feels so much better, don't you?
That's it.
He loves the wood. We go to the lakes quite a lot, don't we? And that, like, yeah, we love doing that, but then the lakes obviously throws challenges sometimes, and putting fingers in cake, so it's just, I think you mentioned it on your video, we're like little investigators constantly thinking about what's next and what can we do to prevent it. It's funny, like, but as I said before, I wouldn't swap him for the world, but I'd swap the world for him.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to, you know, parents who newly diagnosed children?
For me, I was going to say be a team, but there's single parents out there, so it could be a little bit thingy with that, like being a team where they haven't got a partner to support them or whatever. For newly diagnosed, I just think just keep it like learning and trying to keep you cool and not getting easily offended by stuff when you're out, because you will get offended every time you go out. Just try and not isolate yourself. It's easy to say, but not give in. You know what I mean? Like, there's been times when I've been down and out and just been like, why the fuck? What's going on? Like, when we've had so many challenging times, but that does nothing, does it? It does nothing. No. So for me, I'd just say, like, just try and like get as much help as you can where you can, try and get support if you can, speak up, try and come to little bits of if it's our coffee mornings or other people are doing coffee mornings,
Yeah.
try and go there and speak to other parents and vent off and get everything out, don't bottle everything in the ear and just being the rabbit in the headlights. So that's what I'd say anyway, and I'd say for dads, just accept it, just accept it, because it does make life a lot easier, because once you accept it, you're going to try and get the right help. If you don't accept it, you don't think they need the help, so you're not going to go and get it. So
Yeah.
that for a dad, I'd just say just try and accept it and maybe like not have a bit of an ego that I've had in the past.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like,
What would you say, Kim?
I think build up like a support network of
What
meeting
you're
other
like, what you're
parents.
doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, or like Craig said, if it is a single parent, reach out to family members to support you, and don't feel like you are on your own. Go and meet other parents. Yeah, come follow our page, and we share events.
We'll put your page in the description,
Yeah,
so
real.
people can
That'd be
click
good.
on it and send them to your page
Yeah.
and stuff. But it's stuff like that where I think the advice what you're giving people, and like saying dads and stuff, because women are a lot more I don't like saying it, but women are a lot more what's the name than
probably
us.
resilient.
Proactive.
Yeah, they are. My missus always says it to me, and I just
Leo would still be one of the undiagnosed if Kim were with me, like I'd be like, he's just a naughty kid.
No, but you know what though, Craig? I think that's just us as dads, isn't it? You know what I mean? We think, we're like, oh yeah, it's one of them, and but I think our missuses and stuff where they're a lot more clued up than us. That's what my missus always says, and I think they're a bit more aware of certain things, and they deal with situations a bit better than us.
I think they just can't. They're just not scared to go and try and like look out for like the kids and make sure that like. I'm not saying dads don't, but I'm just saying like like as I said, the woman who come to coffee morning, her kid was only 3, and that she's being proactive, as we said before. She's coming and going, well, I feel that you might have autism, so she's come to the coffee mornings, and we've shared our experience, and I think she might have took a little bit from it. So I think women in general are more proactive than dads to be just like, he's sad, like, no, we are talking a few years, we can know that. That's what dads are like, and I feel is that like that massive lessons learned for me. I wish I would have accepted it a bit earlier, but it's just part of the process and part of the journey. I was in the unknown, and I'm probably part of me didn't want to believe that he had any additional needs and stuff. So I just always just say, just being open-minded and just try and crack on and just get help if it's there, and which there is help there. But as I said, if there's not, just try and get to like the coffee mornings and explore it. I'm going to try do some dad mornings and that as well, mate, because I feel like dads, as you said, we just said there, the dads, they struggle, mate, and they do, and I've been that dad struggle at the start. So if I can help any dads, I 100% will help them, mate. I had a coffee with one of the dads, he reached out to me, and I'm mates with his brother-in-law, and he went to me, he was like, mate, seen your video and all that. I was thinking like that, and I was like, lad, let's have a coffee, mate, anytime. We just had the coffee and opens up, and we're gonna go and meet him and his wife and go and have a little coffee with them as well, mate. So we just want to try and help, don't we?
I always say to parents, you're the experts, and professionals are only there to guide you.
Yeah.
So you're your child's biggest advocate, and be confident about that. Like if we're going to a restaurant, I will say to it on the phone, our child's autistic, we need a quiet corner, possibly a booth, can you make a note? And so we're confident in that and telling people, because
we know what our kid
we know then that the adaptations have been made before we're even there, and you've got to be confident, because parents are the experts.
It's used 24/7, isn't it? You know what I mean?
You know your child better than anyone. But you've just got to have that confidence, because you will. I mean, there was a time where we had so many professionals involved, and it can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But like I said, you've just got to bring it back that you're the expert. And I always say to parents, when you go on a plane and they say to you, you've got to put your life jacket on first so you can help you.
Don't help anyone else. Yeah.
You've got to put your own life jacket on and keep that life jacket inflated. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to help your child, are you? So you've got to look after yourself first. Make sure you're doing your self-care, reaching out, have that network, and be confident, because you're the expert.
And the experts are only the so-called experts, and that they're the ones who you're giving them the information from what you see with your child anyway. So they might be able to guide you and all that, but as Kim said, just about strategies and putting plans in place that you'll know will help your kid if you go to a public place, or you're going to go away with them and that, maybe do a social story and stuff. And we all know what our kid loves,
we say social story, people are probably thinking, what's a social story? But even going on YouTube, I mean, like, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, showing them visually so they know what to expect. Because if you say to your child, we're going out for the day, come on, and they're like, if they're autistic, they're thinking, well, where are we going, what are we doing? It's that needing that predictability.
Anxiety, start getting a little bit anxious, and you know what I mean. It's friends and family. How can they support anybody with who's autistic?
I always say it takes a village to raise an even bigger village to raise an autistic child.
I think a lot of our mates, like, my mates and all that, like, are really, they want to understand it, you know what I mean? They do, they understand it to an extent and all that. I think mates in general just want to be there for you, don't they, if they can. I think maybe
if the real friends and stuff
I've
like
got
that.
some really good mates around me, and that, like, I mentioned one of my mates, Matty, and that, who's really helped us, and that, like, especially when we went on holiday that time, we went to Turkey, and that, he was like, he's seen quite soon about, like, that me and Kim were getting a break on this holiday, and he's like, I'll chase after Leo, mate, you just shut, like, I was like, wow, boss dad, like, so, like, 5
minutes is, it felt like...
I got to have a meet.
It's just like that, he was just with all the kids all the time, but, like, no, he was just, those little things like that, it mightn't seem so big from what he's done there, but for us it meant so much, do you know what I mean? It's just like, that's something, maybe seems so little to Matty, I'll just run out after him and that, but for us it was like, fucking hell, nice one, Matty. Do you know what I mean? Just maybe, like,
when people
just chase after that kid for us while we have a baby. Nah, do you know what? Me can't fault my family, my mum, my dad, and that. My mum and dad, my dad's older now, and he had a stroke and all that last year, so health-wise he's not as able as he used to be, but he'll always want to try and help us, and that. My dad and my mum, and my sisters, and my brother and his girl, and that, they're all supportive, and they all understand, and that, and we've got Kim's side as well, who they do, like, the boys are with their Kim's dad now. They're really good. He was like, we just walked them down the beach and all that. And we'll probably have some stories.
You've got a, like,
we are
good
fortunate.
family.
That's why we think we are fortunate, because there's some people who've got no one, and it's sad, do you know what I mean? And hopefully we can be that someone for someone to, like, help and support them where we can. But, it is sad, we just, like, little, as I said, the small wins, we've got a back garden that the kids can go and play, and some parents haven't got that.
You've got, like, a flat or
They've
something with a balcony.
when it must be harder for them, do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't even really understand the challenges they have, because we have not faced them challenges and that, but if we could help them in any way, we still would. But, like, as I said, we just keeping the small wins. I try now to anything that caused me a little bit of stress and that, I try just to fuck it off, maybe, because we deal with enough.
We always say that we don't bring any negativity into that, like, anyone brings any stress to us for life.
No, thank you.
No, we just don't need it, mate. Just, like,
you've got enough, what you said.
Got enough going
on, you said. And look, the goal, what's your goal? To think people who are out there and they're alone, people can come to you guys, or, what's the goal? Is it, like you said, I think you said it before, about having your own centre, was it, or? That's
what we've always spoke about. We don't know how it looks and how it's going to be done and that, but we have, that's something that we want to do. We know, as I said, we've got, like, a little bit of an idea how we want it to be and what we want to achieve from it. Obviously Kim's going to be doing her assessments and all that as well, but the goal is, mate, is create as big as community as we can through the Liverpool Autism Awareness page and help as many families as possible, mate, without not wanting anything in return. We just want to go. It'll cost us.
I think events are probably the way forward. Like, we're going to be going into a lot of schools. We've already got some bookings, haven't we? So we're going to be...
That's big, that's massive.
Talking in assemblies and then doing workshops. But I think the quickest and biggest way to do it is, like, we've started on social media, but doing, like, an event space. So we welcome, like, any funding, anyone who wants to get involved to create big events. Where we can just spread that awareness, understanding, and bring people together.
It's like networking, is that what people are saying? Like a little share, it takes nothing to share it. And do you know what? People coming across, like, everyone's on social media, or someone, can come across it and go, oh, my nephew, or my son, or my daughter, or my grandson, my granddaughter. There's and like you say, there's so many people out there who don't really understand, and what you're doing. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm not just saying that because you're my friends and stuff, but it was just, the lived life experience where going into schools is absolutely massive. Because, like I said before, people go, oh yeah, she's a naughty kid, or he's a naughty kid, he's got behavioural problems, and they don't really know the background, they don't understand.
And we want to spread that kindness as well. Like the name of the, like, we're not doing it as a business at the moment, just a small name that we come up with is Kindly. So that's going to be the name of our...
And the thing is, we're kind and understanding meet.
Kindness and understanding meet, and the ND is for neurodiverse. So we really want to...
It's got to mean, it's like, so obviously...
There's a bit of a movement going on, isn't there? So we want everyone to understand about neurodiversity and using all different terminology, neurodivergence, because again, that's a whole nother world, isn't it? But you know, there's so many famous people who are neurodivergent, like Elon Musk is autistic.
Messi's Asperger's and
Yeah.
that, you know, like the best footballer ever to play football, and he's got it.
It's autism now, so so Asperger's has gone out the window, hasn't it? We don't diagnose Asperger's anymore, so yeah. So
Even
Messi's,
even the what's name people like you just said name there, Elon Musk, Lionel Messi and stuff like that.
So hopefully Leo can be one of them and then we're flying. that's the goal. It's...
we thought talking to the kids about people who are celebrities.
But it's good to take that into school because kids can like be, you know, because I've got autism. I'm like, but look at Lionel Messi, look at these Elon Musk, look at, you know, and it sort of gives them these, you know, things to look up to and go, well, if they can do it, you know.
Talk about ADHD as well, and celebrity, because you know there's autism and ADHD, and our Leo's on the pathway now for ADHD, so that's another journey that we're going to be on.
So, but look, so going in and speaking about all these things, I think you'll be inundated. That's me being honest. I think by going into this, you've got a couple of bookings, and I think as soon as people get wind of it, I think you'll be like, there'll be schools. I even think workplaces as well. You know, like you've got massive, corporations. You've got like massive workloads with men and women. Yeah. Going in and speaking to them, because people go to work, like, you know, and their kids could be different. Yeah. And they go to work a Monday to Friday job, 20, you know, doing nights, doing this, and they're struggling, and they don't,
not being able to speak
they don't speak about it. Like someone going in and speaking about certain things, live life experience. I remember doing something, going into a workplace where I used to work. Yeah. And I went in and spoke about life experiences we've had as a family. Yeah. And when I left, there was 2 women waiting to speak to me afterwards, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, I'm just a normal lad, and I used to work in this place. And she opened up to me, and I was like, wow. Yeah. Just helping that one person. Yeah, it makes you feel, it's so rewarding. Yeah. Not that, you know, I wanted anything for it. It was just, I was given a lived life experience. And when she opened up to me, I was like, wow, do you know what? And you get that sense of feeling that you get. Yeah. You could bottle it up, and you could, you know what I mean? And
that's how we felt after the coffee morning last week, weren't we? We were quite nervous going to it and all. How's it going to be? I was like, I keep going,
he was made up. I was
like, you doing a speech now and all that. I was like, so I just got up and to give a little bit of a spiel and that, but you know what? It was after we went for some food, we were both like on a bit of a hike, and it was like a lot of people took
turnouts and stuff, and
it was a good little turnout, and you know, a lot of people took something from it, and they thanked us for it, and then I was like, hopefully it's helped them with whatever what we shared, or just speaking to people, mate. I think, and that's just that's going to keep just growing. That we want to keep doing more and more of them. Boss.
That's brilliant. But family life today, what's family life today like?
Busy.
It's half term, isn't it? So it's like it's heavy and that at the minute.
The boys happy in the
sun.
To
keep them, trying to keep the weather's out because we've got them out and stuff, but just getting them up and out and just we're up the wall with them, like constantly got to keep them busy and keep them active, because the other option is being cooped up in the house and have meltdowns. And
we've had quite a relaxed week. We always say, like, let's just have a relaxed few days, but then next week we're back into routine.
Because school's back to school and that.
No, they're not even back to school next week.
Oh,
so
you're off again, yeah.
The next Sunday, we prep a week before they go back, so we get back into routine. So Leo will go to his ramp works with Eamon High, and then we're going to get them back into the swim, and Louis got his football camp, so then the routine starts coming back in then. And I mentioned on the page that we use a calendar so they know when they're going back to school then. And it just helps,
that's part of like a social story, isn't it? So we'll build Leo to know when he's going back to school, so he knows what's coming. Yeah. There's what's it called though, like with Leo building them up, we're probably going to expect a little bit of meltdowns with Leo over the next 2 weeks, because going back to school, the builds up of it, maybe the anxiety to going back, even though he loves it, it's a change for what he's been.
From what he's been doing,
So then it'll be going back to school and getting back into that routine. There'll be a lot of tired meltdowns and that we'll have to deal with. But I said there's nothing that we haven't dealt with before or used to. But it's not easy when it happens. But we think we're all right with it now, aren't we? But
do you know what? That's this podcast. I'm so happy that you came on, because, like I said at the beginning, it does go unnoticed, and just coming on and making people aware and making people understand. And you know what, the stories had like the good, the bad and the ugly in it, but I think there's been a lot of good from it, because the stories and the funny, just even saying about the KFC chicken and the what's name upstairs in the house, but you've had your challenges and how you've overcome them. And listen, you're only human, and you're bound to, you're bound to have times where it pushes your patience, and listen, you are human, so you're going to feel like that. But I just want to say, you know what, thank you so much for coming on.
Nice
Because
one.
I was just like, I was worried, I was thinking, oh, will he come on and share, like, you know, their experiences and stuff, but I just want to say thank you. But how can anyone get in touch with you, so we can put your socials and stuff on there?
Just the Liverpool Autism, everything will go through
Yeah.
that. What you give in before the Liverpool Autism Awareness page that we've got on Instagram, and that's probably the best contact for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously to look out for the coffee mornings, or if anyone wants to reach out, we do try and get back to as many people as we can, don't we? Obviously we have a busy life with the kids and all that. And look, we're made up to you asked us to come on. So as I said, if you would have asked me maybe a few months ago, I probably would have said, Tom, I don't know.
No chance.
Do you know what I mean? But like, because it's the messages we want to get across, and say we can help people along the way, then it's good. I made up, we've come on and said, like, I was thinking that our podcast will probably be like, it might not be the most decorated podcast. You know, you've had some like boss podcast people on your podcast and all that. I'm thinking we're just here speaking about our little life with our little kids, and you know, I was like, will it be interesting on that? But I just
You'd be surprised, you know, Craig, because you know what? You know, we do have certain guests come on who might have a little bit of a what's name, but it's people like yourselves. We're just normal people, people with real stories, and people can relate to it because it's real life. It's not scripted. It's like that video you done. I know, and I know you were a bit worried about doing your video because I remember Craig telling me, but you know what? It's real life, and that's what people get. It's not scripted. You're not doing your makeup. You're not doing. No, you had your egg stains on, and you had pillow head. But you know what, Craig?
It just felt like the right time to do it.
But it was good though.
The kids were upstairs for it, and I just went, you know what? She was asking me to do for a bit. I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna do it. You know, and I know what the video was actually about 5 minutes. I actually talked too much.
Yeah.
The guy shut me up, and then I had to cut it down because it wasn't fit on.
No, it was brilliant.
But it's as I said, it's probably led me to like speak up a little bit more, and it did help a couple of dads who I spoke to, and it helped us create the coffee morning, and you know, now we're on the podcast creating some awareness and stuff. It's just this is what we want to do, mate, and we're just going to keep going with it.
Listen, I just want to say thank you to the both of you for sharing the good, the bad and the ugly.
Thanks for having us on,
Nice one. Thanks very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, love.